stars. What's going on here?
And look at the house. It's all lit up.
Yes, it sure gives it an eerie effect.
Listen, I hear music. Those people who rented our house are throwing a party.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you something. I think you'll understand.
Hey, Dad! Those neat guys are the Standells.
You mean those are the people who rented our house?
I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. Oh, please say to me, you let me be your man. And please say to me, you let me hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. He showed you how to ring go. Come on and let yourself go. Everybody ring go. I'm gonna set you straight. This dance is great. Come on and Ringo. Come on and Ringo. Come on and Ringo. Come on and Ringo. Yeah, 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 yeah,
This is Tony Valentino of the Standells. Congratulations to Plastic EP for 900 video shows.
I've got to say, Tony, you are a rock and roll legend. You don't know how much love I've got of your music and of yourself. In 1964, as I said, you played on the Munsters with the Standells, right? Far Out Munster. One of the greatest shows that's out there. How does it feel to be a rock and roll legend? Because you really are.
Oh my God. Honestly, I'm a farmer. I was born up in the mountains in Sicily with the goat and cows. And I'm telling you, I go in my backyard and I got fertilizer and tomatoes and I just cut trees. You know, I'm a farmer, but a rock and roller, you know. So a good thing that I have that so I can mix both together. That's what I came up with, a punk music, you know.
Exactly. Now I want to tell everybody about your new song, I'm a Sexy Punk Rocker. Just tell everybody about the song.
All right. Well, the reason I wrote that is because they calling me the godfather of punk. So I go, wait a minute, I got to write a song about that, you know. So one night I was here messing around and I go, well, first was going to be a trashy punk rocker, and then we changed it to a sexy punk rocker. With the Gary, we changed the title from. I had it original was trashy punk rocker, and then they suggested it. But he says I asked some ladies, and they say sexy is better. Okay, so we changed it to sexy punk rocker. So I figure since they call me Godfather of Punk, I go and I do all this riffs every night. I sit here in my studio and I go, maybe I write a song about punk rocker, you know, that my life story, that I'm a punk rocker on stage, you know, there's big commotion of guards chasing you, the fans, you know, some people pull your pants down, they throw lipstick at you, you know, so all this stuff that I saw on stage, that when I play the punk music and I go, I put this together, and the audience, of course, of the kids, they go crazy, jump up and down, you know, and it is a movement. It's just, it makes you move. You gotta bounce up and down. There's no way you can stay still, you know. So I even had some kids the other day that were bouncing up and down, listen to my song. So that's a good deal. So that's what I wrote it, and it's doing pretty well. It's number 2 on it's called Garage Door. The Garage Door radio station. It's a really big. I really like to thank those two guys, Troy and Craig. Thank you guys at Garage Door for making a punk rocker, sexy punk rocker #2. And thanks to you, Boss TP, Daniel, the crazy dude from Australia. You are one crazy dude with lots of energy all the time. It's amazing.
I know, but you gotta understand, Tony, I grew up with Far Out Monsters. In 64, I'm 6 years old. But then when the Monkeys came on in 67, we're still watching the Munsters. We haven't stopped watching the Munsters. I love that guitar that's there.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture since you wanna talk about the monster.
That's great. Just lift it a bit higher. Can I ask you, 1964, because I wanna hold your hand was the biggest song.
Yeah.
The fact that you did it, you're like the American Beatles to me. Seriously,
Yeah,
like you're more Americanized.
Right. They wanted the Beatles to do it, but they turned it down. So I guess we had to learn and play I Want to Hold Your Hand, which was not bad. I mean, we're trying to get the sound. I got pretty close on the guitar, it was pretty cool. We did it pretty cool, I think. And there was a riot because the whole set, the whole crew, everybody the whole show was like, I could not believe it when I came from Italy and I started seeing the show that came on. It was a trip. I never seen anything like it. And in the 60s, everybody was watching the Monsters and the Addams Family, and Batman. And I could not believe in my eyes that I was right there filming with the guys, with the grandpa and the lady and the Brad and the kid,
Eddie Munster, that was unbelievable. What you did in 1964 is still going today. It's all part of pop culture. All these new generations watch you now. Doing the Ringo, that's a great song too. Do the Ringo.
Everybody do the Ringo, yeah.
The most popular Beatle in 1964 was Ringo. So you were right there with what you were doing. And doing that show in Studio City in 64, that must have been a gas, man. I can only dream how great it was to be on film and be on that show.
Oh, it was just, I could not believe it. I didn't realize it until even a year later years later that what have we done, that we were on that show. And that I guess we were remembered more on this show than any other shows we'd done. It was incredible. It was a really memorable show that we did on TV. I mean, even the Bing Crosby show, the other show that we did, it was not as popular as the Monster that the fans of the Standells seen us, and recognizing us for this Monster episode.
Carissa? I think she's fainted.
Tony, that guitar you got behind you, it's very interesting. Can you grab that guitar that's behind you? It looks fantastic.
Oh, sure. My guitar. Yeah, my teardrop guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a look. That looks beautiful.
So let me tell you the story about this guitar.
Yeah, tell me.
So I had the teardrop guitar. Can you see the guitar pretty good?
Yeah, just lift it up a little bit higher. Just lift it a little bit. That's it. What is it? Is it a Vox?
It's called the Vox Valentino.
That's fantastic. Tell me about it.
I made this. I used to have the teardrop guitar in the 60s and it was stolen. So, and then through the years, I keep wanted one so bad that some idiot, somebody stole the whole van full of box equipment, everything, my Super Beatles, AC-30, AC-50s, you name it, everything. And it sounds pretty good. I mean, I play it. I just did a show. I was in Kansas City. I was on tour this November with I did a, I was last show was with the Seeds. You remember the Seeds?
Yeah, of course. What is it? Pushing it hard.
Pushing too hard, yeah. That was I did it last show in Kansas City. But this guitar, it plays great, and I use it for recording sometimes. It's got a great pickups, 3 pickups, and so it's my signature guitar now. I'm gonna try to make them if I get the energy, but I'm doing too many things right now with the music. I'm doing projects here, another project, in Kansas City, and about recording another young kid and different artists. I'm always, here doing music.
And another person famous for the Vox teardrop guitar is Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones.
Right. I remember when I was with them on tour, he was playing it. One time when we were playing, the city was, I think, was in Houston or Texas, Dallas or somewhere. Somebody stole his they kind of guitar that he played on painted black, that kind of Middle Eastern thing. Oh, that was a scene. He was flipping out, and then somehow they went and found the guy. They found the guy that stole it. Unbelievable, and they brought it back. That was a miracle. But that was another trip with the Rolling Stones.
How great is it that you were a close friend of Davy Jones? I mean, seriously, how great was that when he was driving you around the hills in the car very fast? I mean, you knew all the monkeys, though, didn't you? You knew the four of them?
Oh, absolutely. Remember that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did another interview. I just filmed this episode. Is called a documentary based on where the action is from Dick Clark production in the 60s.
Yep.
With the Port Revere and the Raiders. You remember that? And we did the tour with the Port Revere, and we were on the where the action, Dick Clark, where the action is. We were a tour, which was crazy, and great tour. But anyway, and I just did an interview. We were talking about that. This is called Where the Action Was. There's going to be a documentary about the 60s and where the action is, so the old days of rock and roll, and what we done and this and that. And we start talking about the Monkees and the same way. And I was telling the story about everybody coming over my house with my roommate Manny the hairdresser. As a matter of fact, I wrote a song about that. It's called Living on Laurel Canyon in 1969. Davy Jones was coming by to get his haircut by Manny, my hairdresser. And then Lyndon Ronstadt, the people, all the band from Polk, some of the guys that turned out to be the Eagles, Randy Meisner, they used to come all to the house. It was crazy. And then we used to have outrageous parties at nights. And all the people from the Whiskey a Go-Go, the dancers, everybody was coming over every single night. As a matter of fact, the police had us marked in red, because we were doing so much commotion. The Jimi Hendrix and the Mamas and everybody was coming by. It was crazy.
Did you ever go and see Davy Jones working at Screen Gems doing the Monkees?
Manny used to go all the time. We went one time. A friend of mine that I used to know in the 60s, well, I used to know Bobby Hart very well. And Larry Taylor, he was the bass player for a lot of the music that he played on their songs. He was the greatest bass player incredible. This one guy, he was in Can Heat, very great musician. Too bad, unfortunately, I found out that we lost him already, but he was a great bass player. And so we hang out there, and but they used to come to the house all the time, and so we used to, kind of mingle and run around cruising on Mulholland on his Mini Cooper and all kinds of stuff, that we used to enjoy, the 60s.
I mean, I just saw a modern Mini Cooper on the road today. I saw it and I thought of you and David Jones driving around up and
Oh
down
my
the hills. I
God.
saw the new model on the street.
Oh my God, I'll never forget. It was a blue, like a blue and white. I can't never, he almost killed me. I mean, we took one turn, one curve. Mulholland is very dangerous. It's up on the hills on Hollywood Hills. And a lot of guys go up there and they crash all the time. So we got, let me see, he goes, Tony, watch, hang on, we're gonna walk, got this curve now, watch out, like 70 miles an hour. I go, oh my God, on two wheels. I was petrified, but we made it. We went back to the house. I go, oh, thank you, David. It was a great ride. Yeah.
Did you ever go past Elvis's house or did you ever go to Mickey's house?
Yeah, we went one time with the crazy Gary Leeds, who was my first drummer, actually my second drummer in the Standells. And then he went to England to form the Walker Brothers. So he was part of the Standells, and we had so much fun when he was in the Standells. Then we were playing at PJ's, and one night he comes up to me, he goes, Tony, are you ready to go to England? We're gonna go to England and we're gonna make it big. I go, oh man, I don't know if I want to go to England. I just came here from Italy. So I really didn't want to go, but he made it pretty big. He was pretty successful with the Walker Brothers, and he got to play. I think he was on all You Need Is Love. He was on the video with the Beatles. We used to go to Elvis, like, because he asked me, and we used to go on the scooters, on the Vespas and the Lambrettas. But we used to go up there and mess around his house, and his guards. Sometimes they would come out and come on, you guys, man, come on. But I seen Elvis. I was playing with the new Standells in 1974. Most of the guys were not there because they quit. So I went and continued with the Standells, and I played at the International Hotel in 1974. Elvis was there, and it was a ride every night. It was incredible. It was unbelievable. I had the best time in Las Vegas. We used to see him in the parking lot with a cane and the limousine and everything. So it was a ride. One night we were playing this is called the Crown Room, and I was on break, and I was talking to Joe Mammoth. He used to go there all the time to see him. And Elvis comes in, and as he was walking toward us, they called me on the microphone. He says, Tony, come on, we need you right now. And I had to leave. I couldn't meet Elvis. I had a chance to meet Elvis right there. I missed it, but he was right there next to me. It was incredible.
You've had an incredible career because you were right there when it happened. You know what I mean? You're just right there. The American Beatles is the Standells, and your song's Dirty Water and whatever the greatest. And I just sent you a song. It was a Beatles song from 1964. The Standells did. It was a Beatle novelty song. Did you play on that one in 64?
Always. I was in the Standells. I'm one of the founding member. Me and Jody Rich. We were the first ones to have the band, and we were looking for a keyboard player, and then the Standells was formed. But I'm the original one I've been there since day one.
Do you remember the song Peppermint Beetle?
That Beetle, the Peppermint. Yeah, that's what it was.
Can you tell me about that song?
I don't know. We were playing at this club was called the Peppermint West, and we had all the dancers every night and dancing, and we used to play there. And Johnny Cash comes in one night, and he sat in with us, and he goes, Tony, D as in dog, Tony, D as in dog. And I had to play, Walk the Line, one of those songs. I could not believe it. I was next to Johnny Cash playing this song, and he said, oh my God. But we used to add all the dancers in the front. As a matter of fact, I tell you another story. All the dancers in the front, became, because Neil Young used to come outside and listen. He couldn't get in. He couldn't ever afford to get in. He was listening to this guys. He's singing and dancing. They had great harmonies. It turned out now they turn out to be Crazy Horse, and they went with Neil Young. Great harmonies, but they were dancing in front of us, and then that's why we were doing that the peppermint beetle every night. You know and the lady was going, "Come on, everybody, come on, do the peppermint beetle." You know.
That's amazing. I'm going to play that song now.
They used to drill and have potato. Now they do it. The peppermint beetle. Oh, the peppermint beetle. Clap your hands. Shake your mouth. Then you do it. The beetle drum. The peppermint beetle. The peppermint beetle. Come on down to Hollywood town. They do nothing but be low down. The peppermint beetle. They used to drill and make a needle. Now they do it. The peppermint beetle. The peppermint beetle. He's a peppermint beetle. He's a peppermint beetle. He's a peppermint beetle. He's a peppermint beetle.
Can you tell everybody now where they can get I'm a Sexy Punk Rocker?
This is on Big Steer Records. Okay, I just signed a contract last year, and I got this is off the album. It's called Dirty Water Revisited, and I got all the songs that were recorded in the Dirty Water LP, the Standells, you know, like all the Barracuda, you know, Good Cousin We're White, all about 10 songs. So they can buy Sexy Punk Rocker on Big Steer Records. They could go to their side, and it's probably on you know, all the maybe Amazon Music, or I mean eMusic, all those, you know.
I'm a sexy punk rocker. I'm crazy like no other. I started in LA before the pay to play. I won't get a job, I won't go to school, won't take a test, think I'm a fool. I don't need permission to piss on your lawn. I don't change for the latest fashion. Why should I get all the action? It's still 1979 in my mind. I'm a sexy punk rocker. I'm unlike any other, and no one can take me down now. Sexy rocker, a silent CD sucker, a sexy punk rocker. I'm a powerful for you now. I drove from New York to Route 66 and the California coast. I hustled out some chicks and I got myself some kicks. I'm trashing. I travel the world in the 7 states. I go in and out of hotels as I play. Room service and Dom and the girls are there waiting for me. I guarantee I get on stage in my underwear and the bodyguards I can't find nowhere. It's still 1979 in my mind. I'm a sexy punk rocker, a sexy punk punk rocker, and no one can take me down now. I ain't no one-hit wonder. I'm crazy like no other. I'm a sexy punk rocker. I'm rocking out for you now. I'm here to please all of you. So listen to what I'm gonna say. I was born a punk rocker, and I ain't no sucker. I stand my ground and trash this town like no one's ever done before. I won't get a job, I won't go to school, won't take a test, think I'm a fool. Don't need permission to piss on your lawn. Refugees and overcoats, safety pins and leather bolts. It's still 1979 in my mind. And so, baby, come on everyone, rock out. Everyone rock out. I'm a sexy punk rocker. I'm here to kiss all of you. So listen to what I'm gonna say, gonna say, gonna say, gonna say. Punk rocker.
In the 60s, I mean, in Laurel Canyon there, I mean, everybody was there. That was the scene. And like, you were there. I mean, the mamas and the papas.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I went to their first show when they did the audition for Lou Adler on Sunset Boulevard. And it was this club underneath the Playboy Club. This building is still there, but it's remodeled now. But at the top of the tower was the Playboy Club, and below there was this club. And but the Mamas and the Bobs auditioned there with Lou Adler. It was incredible, unbelievable. They got signed. Like I was right there with. I'm telling you, with everybody. Jimi Hendrix was running around. I mean, the Doors. I mean, we played with the Doors. I mean, hanging out with Jim Morrison, on Laurel Canyon, Lookout Mountain, all the time. It was everybody was there. It was incredible. I used to have the guy on Laurel Canyon that produced Donovan. He was living next door to me, and the other side next door to me, Danny Houghton from Three Dog Night was living there. So it was everybody was there. It was great. I'm telling you, I wish that would go back. I'm writing a song. I wish I could go back to the 60s because that was such a riot. There was such a different era of historic moment in our lives,
I think you
It-
need to write a
it's-
book, Tony. I think you're right. You need to write a digital book about all your memories because you got so many great memories.
I try. I'm working on it. I got some people interested. I'm working on to write my story. Bobby Hart we used to hang out at Ben Frank's at night, and he used to come to PJ's. We used to play there all the time, and we became friends. He used to hang out, around town, and then they got lucky with the Monkees. They got the single hit record. I was glad because the poor guy, we were all broke in those days. We had no money. We were just barely making, but we were making good money playing at the club in those days, better than now. Because now they don't even pay a damn nothing, the club owners, they don't want to play nothing. So, but in those days we used to make great money. So we had money, but a lot of people that I saw, they were struggling. It was incredible. Like Bobby Hart, all those guys. I mean, everybody was out of work. There was not much of work. But then everybody got signed, and so many friends of mine they got just like incredible. I remember Glenn Campbell came to town, and I was recording at Gold Star, famous recording studio. Phil Spector. Everybody was recording there. The Beach Boys, and we're recording there. And there was this guy with the guitar in his back, and got on stage and he played the song and everybody flipped out. It was crazy. And then the owner, Tony Farah, comes up to me. I was called the Red Velvet the club was called the Red Velvet. The club owner comes, say, "Hey, Tony, would you mind and give it?" Because he would announce me. Here's Tony Valentino, you're on the audience of Standells, and he was in the, Bill Medley used to give me a plug, those guys. He asked me, "Can you please give this guy newcomer in town, Glenn, can you give him a ride to his car, So I gave him a ride, and I go, "What do you want to go?" He says, "Can you take me to Sepulveda?" It's a famous street here. So I drove him in the valley, and I drove him to this parking lot. There was a truck parked there with a camper a thing on top of his truck. And he goes, "That's what I leave right now." He had a couple of guitars, and I couldn't believe it. He was like, "Leave me in the truck." He just got into town, Glenn Campbell. I couldn't have never forgotten that. So I was right there with everybody. Everybody was like Dennis, hanging out with Dennis Wilson, the Beach Boys, going to the Spawn Ranch, Charles Manson. He's talking to me about those stories. My God, I got stories that your hair gets, lift up from your arms.
Give me a couple of your favorite Beatles songs.
My favorite Beatles song, "Girl." Unbelievable. Rubber Soul is my all-time Beatle. I play Rubber Soul on the beach everywhere I go. In the car, I cannot believe the sound and the harmonies they got. And they were dry. It was not even that much echo, reverb in their vocals. It was like such bizarre. This Beatles guys, they woke me up. I mean, they woke all the musicians up, the Beatles. They did, honestly, because before the Beatles, there was a rock and roll. I mean, Buddy Holly, Elvis, this and that, but in such a perfection, the arrangements and the stuff that they put in the music was like, I could not believe it. It was like, but Her Girl is one of my favorite of all times Beatles songs.
I like Run for Your Life.
Oh, I love that one too. Oh man. And the other one, I Just Seen Your Face. I Just Seen Your Face.
Yeah, that's right. A great song.
Oh my God.
What a fantastic show with Tony Valentino.
Thank you so much. Thank you.